Hello and welcome. I'm Tanya Marsden, and it's my pleasure to be bringing you this live body talk session today from beautiful Nelson at the top of the South Island of New Zealand. In fact, I'll probably take a couple of minutes to calm down because it's just such a joyful feeling for me that this is actually happening, and I'm doing a little internal dance of excitement and celebration, and that's okay because we're here to celebrate, and I'm feeling this very warm glow building as all of you connect and gather here with me. So as everyone is just finding their way here and connecting in, our first prayer and intention is a very practical one, something along the lines of blessings and appreciation on all of our technology, but as I'm sure we've all experienced, it can be unpredictable. And so in the unlikely event of an emergency, if you do cut out and can't get back into the meeting, just trust that there's a reason for that. Possibly it's just that a different timing would be better for you. I will have a recording that I'll make available as soon as possible at the end. Also, you're very welcome to come over to my Facebook page afterward and connect and share with each other about what happened for you if you want to start building a community of support and inspiration around any of these gatherings. There should be a link at the end of the session that takes you there automagically, so come over and visit there if you feel like connecting. If you've just joined us, hi and welcome on board. We're just getting started. I hope you have about an hour where you won't be interrupted, maybe even created a bit of a healing zone for yourself with whatever brings this alive or makes it delicious for you. But really, wherever you are right now is where you're meant to be. So wherever that is, let's all just begin to settle in a little bit more and bring all of our focus here. Now's the time to turn your phone off, unless you're using it to tune in, of course. So firstly, I want to say a big thank you for coming, because it wouldn't be a group healing without all of you, and I chose this name or theme for the session because I wanted to convey that it's a gathering to celebrate this winter solstice. So happy winter solstice! It's the longest night. Nature's energy is all about getting back to the roots and recharging, and we are literally turning back towards the sun. There's been a lovely magical feeling for me leading up to the event, and as I filled my space with flowers and candles and anything else that was fun for me to add to the beauty of it all, I've been able to feel a healing zone coming into being, especially since the new moon gathering, which was just a few days ago. And I mean it when I say that it wouldn't happen without you, because what does happen has been determined by who is here. For anyone who doesn't know me yet, I'm Tanya Marsden, and I'm a full-time body talk practitioner in New Zealand, so I do this kind of healing all the time in private sessions. But for a while now I've been getting this call to create gatherings where we can all work together on things that are common ground, if you like, for all of us. So this body talk session represents the synchronicity between us all, which I think is a beautiful and potent thing, and I hope that you feel a sense that being here together adds a little extra empowerment to the shifts that we'll go through. It will be different for everybody, and I'll be guiding you through it, so you don't have to know lots about body talk to feel the shift for yourself. You don't have to do anything special for it to work, because some of you will go so deeply relaxed that you may not want to move, or may not be able to move, or even drift off to sleep, and that's okay because you're receiving. But if you want to, you can really participate by putting your hands on any part of your body that we're bringing a focus to, and by tapping over the brain and the heart. In Body Talk, we're working with your energy field, which is really the highest frequency part of your body, and we tap very gently on the top of your head, on both sides, just using one hand, so it's like your thumb and your fingers are kind of spread out. We're tapping over the brain to stimulate it into action, to bring the things we're working on into better communication or harmonious relationship with each other. We then tap over the heart to acknowledge that when we create a better balance between parts, we create a better balance for everything, or for our whole self and body mind. And when we bring ourselves into this energetic coherence and we've restored the communication between those pieces of ourselves that were a bit out of sync, it creates clarity on a mental level, well-being on an emotional level, and health on a physical level. And that is our balance in that moment, which is different for every person. Some of you will find that what happens makes perfect sense and that it lands easily and you feel it immediately, and some of you might find it makes more sense as you go about your life over the next few weeks, because as we make this shift on an energy and a consciousness level, it can take varying amounts of time to show up in your physical. So we're going to start off by doing a short visualization or tuning in exercise to bring your awareness into yourself, but also to the kinds of things we might be working with. So when you're ready, close your eyes and take a nice deep breath. Think about or sense or imagine the you that is your consciousness. I don't only mean the thoughts that happen in your mind in a steady stream, but the you that holds the memories of your past, your belief systems, ideas that suddenly come to you, your wisdom and experience, your soul, your dreams. And then think about or imagine the you that is your emotional self. Would you describe yourself as a feeling person, a responsive person, maybe even a sensitive person? Are you a mix of feelings right now, or would you say you are mostly joyous, or mostly worried about something, or not actually clear how you feel? And now think about or imagine your body, your bones, your muscles, connective tissue that goes through everything, your heart and brain and all the electrical pathways and messages between them. Tune in for a moment that every single cell is in communication with every other cell. Sometimes really great communication, and sometimes not. We usually become aware that it's not working that well when we are getting sick, or we're in pain, or we can't sleep, and so on. Your physical body is sustained by an electromagnetic field that is also you, and it is picking up on all sorts of sensory information, some of which we aren't even aware of in our conscious thought. And so, think about or imagine or sense the world around you. There's nature, animals, trees, insects, mountains. There's people, ones you love a lot, some that really bug you. More often than not, they're the same people. And there's ones you don't know. And there's work, and school, and your children, and weather, and of all of these apparently external factors, some can have an effect on you more obviously than others. So now imagine how you as your consciousness is related to you as a feeling emotional being and related to you as a body. It's all you. Feel how things that you think are outside of you have an effect on your feelings or on your body, or both. Consider that your belief systems are a lens through which you view that world, and that your perception of things affects your body and emotions. Of all the buzzing messages going around your body, imagine that some parts might not be communicating as well as they could. The only question we are really asking when we do body talk is, out of all of those many possibilities and relationships between things, which ones are affecting you and most need to be balanced right now to bring a better balance to you as a whole person? My role as the guide is to talk to the innate wisdom of your body and find out what the shift is that you need today. And now, feeling yourself as a whole being who is here to receive that new level of balance, think about or imagine all the other people here with you in this healing space, because you were all drawn here by some common threads that connect you. So just for a moment, take a nice deep breath and send a wave of love and appreciation to everyone else who showed up with you today. Beautiful. And so we do body talk to create energetic coherence, which brings about mental clarity, emotional well-being, and physical health. As I said, my role is to communicate with the innate wisdom of your body, or in this case, all of us, and find out what shift is needed. I don't plan what to say based on what I think we need. I ask what to say. And what came through tonight is unique to this moment, this group, and this theme, the turning point back into the light we dance. So now we'll move straight into the Body Talk session for everyone who is here to celebrate a turning point. And you are welcome to join me in the tapping parts if you want to, but otherwise just observe and enjoy. We're going to begin by tuning into the breath cycle. So wherever you are sitting or lying, as you're breathing in and out, just gradually and gently, without force, make your breath a little deeper and a little deeper in your own timing. And start noticing all the parts of you that expand and release as you breathe in and out. Your shoulders have a gentle movement up and down as you breathe, expanding up and down as you breathe in and out. Your entire rib cage and chest expands in all directions. Front, right at the back, and to the sides, and releases again as you breathe in and out. So the whole rib cage and chest is expanding and releasing as you breathe in and out. When you're breathing deeply and fully, you can bring it right down into your belly and feel expansion and release in the whole abdomen. And as you keep focusing on your breath, deeply but very gently and in your own natural rhythm, take your attention to your sacrum, the bone at the very base of your spine that goes right down into the tailbone, and become aware that even the sacrum is gently rocking back and forth with every in and out breath. In fact, every part of your body experiences some movement that goes with your breath, in alignment with every in-breath, which is symbolic of your ability to be inspired about your life, and every out-breath, which is symbolic of your ability to let go. So let your breath settle back into its natural rhythm with an awareness of movement happening in your body, of expansion and release, inspiration and letting go, as we move our focus to a specific point on the spleen meridian. Meridian just means it's the energy pathway in our system that vitalizes the spleen and also the pancreas. So if you want to find this point, just put your right hand around about where you feel your heart is, and then slide it over to the left until it's resting on the left side of your rib cage and your hand is under your arm. If you massage around about the point where your fingertips are, you might find a point that's very sore, but it's not essential to do that. This point physically balances the blood sugars in the body and symbolically our ability to enjoy the sweetness of life. And on an even deeper level, our knowing that everything we need is available in abundance for us. The closest feeling we could have to being in the womb when all of our nutritional needs were met. Without us even having to desire it, we received everything we needed. So tune into that feeling, or just that concept if you can't feel it. As we're doing that, we're also going to tune into the brain and the lymphatic drainage from the brain. The specific function of the lymph we're focusing on here is how it's taking care of removing and recycling old stuff on a physical level. But symbolically, it's about letting go of an old thought that isn't serving us well. So as we tune into that lymphatic drainage from the brain, we are releasing the thought that I have to prove myself. What a great idea to let go of that thought. And as we let that go, there's a part of us that holds a much better idea for us to tap into. And that part of us is represented by the archetype of Venus. Venus is a planet in the sky, of course, and the movement of that planet affects us. And in Bodytalk, we tap into the archetype as a way of explaining how that translates into our human psyche. The specific that we focus on for this session right now is about how we experience beauty and pleasure in life. The Venus part of our inner being knows very well how to experience life as beautiful and delicious and pleasurable on a very tangible level, from the food we eat to the home we live in and how we make it look and feel for ourselves, and how we celebrate what we have while we are having it. And the message she wants to tell you, and I'll call her a she because it is quite a feminine energy, is to do it for the love of it, or to do more of what you love. So whether something personal and specific comes to mind when you think, I have to prove myself, or whether it was quite general, tune into how different it feels when you think, I do it for the love of it, about that. And so let's bring it all together now as we are balancing our breath and the free moving expansion and release in our body as we breathe, and connecting that to the pancreas point that balances our blood sugar levels and our ability to enjoy the sweetness of life, and letting go of the thought I have to prove myself, and celebrating doing what we love for the love of doing it. If you want to, start to tap gently now over the brain, taking nice deep breaths as we activate the brain's ability to bring these different parts of ourselves into a new relationship of balance. So just continue taking nice deep breaths, tapping if you'd like to over the brain. If you don't want to tap, just focus on the feeling of movement in the body while you're breathing deeply. And now tapping over the heart to acknowledge that that balance brings a new level of coherence to our whole self. Tapping gently over the heart, taking a nice deep breath. And now you can relax your hands wherever you'd like them. Rest them on your heart if you'd like. Just let your breathing return to normal and enjoy how that shift feels in your body. So next we are moving our focus into what we call the primary feminine matrix, and it is the center of energy in our body that holds the feminine strength and wisdom. If you want to put your hands over your upper abdomen around about the solar plexus area and start connecting with that. That's okay, or otherwise just relax your hands wherever you'd like them to be and have a gentle focus on that. If you're a woman, your feminine energy matrix is at the forefront, and you ideally lead into your life with feminine wisdom, but you also have the masculine energy just behind supporting that. If you're a man, your masculine energy is at the forefront, and you ideally lead into your life with your masculine wisdom, but you also have the feminine energy supporting that. So both men and women each have a feminine and masculine matrix of energy, but for this particular balancing, we are focusing on the feminine. It's connecting with the kidneys, which are around the mid-back, and as well as all of their physical functions, one of the things our kidneys do is to process our emotions of fear. In this case, it's related to whatever activities we are personally engaged in right now that we perceive to be stretching us and moving us out of our comfort zone, and most likely stimulating a little bit of fear and self-doubt. And those activities that we're engaged in could well be the things we love that we just talked about before. And it's putting our nervous system in a little bit on edge, so we will balance that as well. So as we bring these things together, bring your attention into your feminine center again, and the energy we want to really tune into is self-nurture. So as you take a nice deep breath, just try to sink into a lovely feeling of warmth and compassionate self-care that is the wisdom of the feminine energy. And as we connect that feeling to the kidneys, think about or feel or imagine that we are bringing in a beautiful gold light that's soothing your whole nervous system, and we'll bring this gold light down through the top of your head and feel it flowing downward through all the nerves, which go all the way down your spine and out into every part of your body, right down and out into all the fingers and toes. And we're sending a message through the whole nervous system to relax, to be at ease. And if you want to, tap over the brain now, taking deep breaths, as we activate the brain's ability to bring these different parts of ourselves into a new relationship of balance. Taking nice deep breaths, tapping gently over the brain. Remember to breathe all the way out. As you breathe all the way in and all the way out, remember that it's our ability to take in life or to be inspired, and our ability to release or let go. So just keep tapping over the brain and seeing that lovely gold light flowing through our whole nervous system, connecting to the kidneys, calming our fears and doubts. It's safe and enjoyable to go outside of our comfort zone sometimes. And our feminine wisdom knows to be very nurturing of ourselves while we're doing it. And so now, as you take another nice deep breath, tapping over the heart to acknowledge that that new relationship of balance brings a whole new level of coherence to our whole being. And you can relax your hands, put them wherever is comfortable for you. Let your breathing return to normal and enjoy how that shift feels. And now moving on, we'll take your attention to your connective tissue, which is present everywhere in your body and is actually one whole body part. Tension in one place affects the whole of it, and that's why we can experience pain in one part of our body that actually emerges from a constriction in another part. It's the literal framework or foundation for all the other parts of your body, and it's symbolic in body talk of the framework or foundation of your life. As you feel into that and observe any tension that you feel, just shift your focus now to your vital life force energy. We call it the Wei Qi, and it's like an invisible skin made of your vitality, and you might see it as a glow all around your body. The Wei Qi provides a boundary between your internal biology and external factors. So now, as you shift your focus again and take your attention to your hips, and you can put your hands there if you want to, what's coming up here is that there is something for each of us that we feel throws us completely out of stability. And when we come into contact with this thing, we feel rocked or insecure or overwhelmed. But the thing we are trying to protect ourselves from is sometimes a challenge we need or needed for our growth, or our belief systems about our need to remove it from our reality so we can be happy are actually creating the instability, not its presence. So whatever comes to mind is right for you, and if nothing specific comes up, that's fine too, because we are balancing our reaction to things that we perceive to be challenges in general, and creating a new framework or foundation that we have a strong and clear boundary of protection that keeps our internal balance no matter what external influences are happening. It's like imprinting a new foundation that I can be well no matter what is happening around me. So we're going to do a balancing for the brain that resets us when we've gone into fight, flight or freeze mode, to change that habitual reaction. So if you want to tap along with me, keep a gentle focus on all the connective tissue in your body and on that life force vitality or Wei Qi that creates a strong protective boundary for you, that second skin. And place one hand on the back of your head at the base of your skull. And we're going to all take nice deep breaths, full deep breaths all the way in and all the way out. And with your free hand, you're just going to tap very gently over the top of your head. As we're tapping, we're activating the brain, activating its ability to bring different new balance to our brain. So we're actually bringing the brain itself into better balance here. And as we continue to take nice deep breaths, just tap gently over the heart. And then the hand that's on the back of your head is just going to move forward one hand space. So bring your thumb up to where your little fingers were, and then your hand is still just on the back of your head, but it's further forward. And keep tapping really gently over the brain, over the head, still taking nice deep breaths. And if you're not tapping, just focus on the breath, on the connective tissue, and on your life force vitality becoming stronger. And then we'll tap very gently over the heart. And we're going to move that hand on the top of our head one hand space forward again. So now your hand is on top of your head. Go back to tapping very gently over the brain. Anywhere on the top of the head is fine, or tapping over the hand is fine. Just keep taking nice deep breaths, tapping gently over the head. We're balancing the whole brain and getting it out of fight-flight mode and into growth and nurture mode. Taking a nice deep breath, tapping over the heart. Now we're We're going to move our hand forward one last time. So your hand is now on your forehead and right down above your eyebrows. And taking nice deep breaths and continuing to tap gently over the top of the head. And then tapping gently over the heart. And for the last part of balancing our brain, we're going to take both hands. Put both hands on either side of your head, so you've got one hand on each side of your head, and in this position we're covering the limbic brain, which is our own emotional brain. And so remembering that we felt a need to try and eliminate something challenging from our reality to be happy, remembering that we're imprinting a new foundation, that we have a strong and clear boundary of protection that keeps our internal balance no matter what external influences are happening, and we're making this a new foundation for our life by connecting to the connective tissue. And just take one hand, either hand, it doesn't matter which hand, and tapping gently over the top of the head, over the brain, breathing deeply. Nice full deep breaths, and as you breathe out, just relax both hands and tap very gently over the heart. We tap over the heart to acknowledge that that brings a new level of coherence and balance to our whole entire being. And you can relax your hands and put them wherever is comfortable for you, or just rest them on your heart. And just breathe normally and enjoy how that shift feels. And so as we keep moving forward, we're going to expand our focus right now to include the big collective consciousness. So that's the whole family of humanity. And as you're tuning into all the souls that are here with you on the planet right now, experiencing life in as many ways as there are people, just think about or imagine that as the earth turns and we experience a 24-hour cycle of day following night, we also experience cycles in our body that are attuned to this rhythm. And all of our meridians or energy pathways that are related to the organs in our body, all our meridians experience tides of energy in a cycle. The specific time of day we're focusing on here is around 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. when the kidney meridian is at its highest tide, so the most energy is flowing through the kidney meridian at this time. We talked just before about how kidneys process our fear, and something else that happens at this time of day is that a lot of people watch the news, but sadly it's all the baddest of the bad news, so a lot of people are getting the message that what's happening in the world is all very fearful, as if life is presenting them with evidence that everything is falling apart. But something else that's happening at that time of day right now is that the sun is setting. So imagine, if you will, the contrasting feeling you would have if you were watching the most gloriously beautiful sunset at that time of the day. It would be more like you were being presented with evidence that life is a miracle and that there is a force that is supporting the turning of the whole universe in a perfect order and harmony, and that that force is also supporting you, and that life is beautiful. So the word compassion comes up. And as we think about our big human family, in whatever way is appropriate for you, allow that to become a feeling. The message to us here is about looking to nature for evidence of life's harmony. And as you focus on the kidneys again in your own body, imagine that beautiful sunset and that great force that keeps everything growing and the cycles that interweave, and that we came to celebrate one of those today. And so, taking nice deep breaths again, if you'd like, tap over the brain and take nice deep breaths as you're feeling compassion for the big human family and linking to your kidneys and the way that we're processing all our own personal fears, and connecting with that force, the great assisting current in the universe that is always inspiring everything to grow and expand. Taking nice deep breaths, and just begin to tap gently over the heart to acknowledge that that brings a new level of coherence and balance to our whole self. And when you feel done, just relax your hands. You can rest them on your heart if it feels good to you, and let your breathing return to normal, and just enjoy how that shift feels. And so, my friends, that brings this particular Body Talk session to a close, and you can stay in it as long as it feels good to you. Or if you're feeling ready, just start to stretch into your body now and observe any difference you feel. As I said earlier, some of you will feel like you got it and it landed and you understand it completely, and some things may make more sense over the next few weeks as you interact with life. You may get more messages or reminders of things we shifted here. You can support yourself by listening to your own body and resting when you need to, because we just asked your body to let go of and sort out some pretty big stuff. So it's going to be working over the next wee while, actually making that a reality. It's good to drink lots of water, but there's nothing special you need to do. Just allow it to keep working over the next wee while. One of the things I most love about Body Talk is that some really beautiful insights come out of each session. I loved how much the feminine energy was part of this healing, because the winter solstice is the time of the year when the feminine night energy is at its highest, and celebrating these cycles is one way that we can look to nature for evidence of harmony, because everything has death and rebirth. And we can have faith that the world will be warm again, even while we're enjoying the best parts of winter, like hot soup and sexy boots. And there's a great example for you of that Venus wisdom, the part of our inner being who knows very well how to experience life as beautiful and delicious and pleasurable, and how we celebrate what we have while we're having it, when we're allowing ourselves to tap into the sweetness of life. And that whole thought about having to prove ourselves was so pertinent for me as well. And I've noticed a bit of a change about my fears and doubts that I'd like to share. What I've noticed is that because I'm doing more of what I love, I'm experiencing a feeling of going out of my comfort zone. And yes, there are fears and doubts, but it's different in that my passion is outweighing my fear in a funny new arrangement where I'll put something out there and then I experience my fear more after it than before. But it's too late because I've already done it. So my fear isn't stopping me anymore, even though I'm being human and still feeling it. And what that means to me is that in the bigger picture of energies, there's more support than ever before for doing what we love, and I felt like I have the right to take it to the level that's a pleasure for me. So going out of my comfort zone is not about striving or going into extreme pain, but about having more fun with it. And that's happening in a physical sense too, and this came up in the new moon session last week as we released a belief system about pain, that it's more beneficial for our bodies to move in a pleasurable way than it is to stretch or stress them into pain. And so the next new moon session is in July. We'll be in the Cancerian energy then, and in actual fact, the winter solstice is when the sun moves into Cancer. So from tomorrow, we are all going into a decidedly more watery and feeling space for the next month, and we'll be learning about what we base our feelings of security on, and what makes us feel like we are home in ourselves. I find this part of winter a really lovely time for enjoying people who are close to me, because the whole energy of turning inward creates some nice intimacy with other people. So if you enjoyed today's session and you want to take this to the next level, then come along to the next new moon session, and I'll put the theme up as soon as it comes to me. I don't know if any of you have noticed, but the themes are actually affirmations, because I'm most excited about using Body Talk to move towards what we want to create in our life and seeing how that changes our physical health rather than focusing on problems and trying to fix them. So the new moon sessions are even more about working with your personal intentions for your coming cycle, and it will work in a very similar way where you register just as you did for this session, but there's an automagical PayPal link and it's only $10 to join. I've also got sessions on my website now that you can do anytime. Again, if you're drawn to the affirmation or theme of the session, it will help you in some way. And they're also only $10, and you can download them from my website at taniamarsden.com. There's also a video on the latest new moon session of the technique we just did that resets your brain out of stress mode or fight flight. It's easy to learn, and it's a tool you'll have for the rest of your life that can get you back into balance quickly. So that's free because it's on the post, the blog post I did called "With Crystal Clarity, I Can Always Find My Path," which was the theme for the Gemini New Moon session just gone. So I do hope you'll join me for the next one on July the 16th, or let me know if you want to get a personal session that's just for you. And in keeping with the theme of dancing back into the light, I'm going to say goodbye to you all now and go and have an actual dance, because it is a night to celebrate, because it's one of life's pleasures that's also really good for our bodies and our brains, and because my inner Venus archetype would just really enjoy that, and because that's the energy I would like to send out to the family of humanity tonight. So join me wherever you are if you feel like that too, or do whatever makes you feel a sense of appreciation for all that you have and all that you are, or whatever keeps you in the lovely calming energy we just created here. Once again, thank you all so much for coming and for being part of this, and I do hope I see you next month on the new moon, or come and share on Facebook when we've all finished dancing or eating soup and so on. Blessings to you all, and bye for now.